What do you do when the water pipe breaks at midnight in your parents' garage? Well, you go investigate, and you find out that this little piece of half-inch goodness is not goodness. It's cracked PVC. When we got over here, this was the original piece that was here just like this. And this whole piece was drywalled. It came out to here. You couldn't see anything but this little piece right here. Everything was wet. It's still damp to the touch. I could still knuckle it a little bit. We actually scored this with a razor knife and then used a hammer to tap it out because we could tell that the water was coming from this piece. And this is the outside spigot, so it's not like we're using it right now, so we weren't too worried about creating a cosmetic situation. So we cut this out. We went down to Lowe's, and it says on here in the markings that it is a piece of half-inch C PVC. And at Lowe's...
Just to apologize, I wanted to break in here, give you a little bit of intro with this. So weather had been below freezing, actually in the 10s for overnight temps. And we had gotten a call from my mom late at night saying that, hey, there's a note left on my garage door. The water company actually come to turn off the water main, and I had a pipe burst. So this is actually, in those situations where you do have a pipe burst, this is probably one of the best case scenarios for a pipe burst, because this whole corner of the garage was actually truly wet. And apologies for the light coming back on, it's a sensor light, but this whole corner of the garage was wet. We actually had to move some stuff here to get here, and we actually had to cut out. We scored the drywall with a knife, and we got this to access this area. This actual piece was sticking out right there, but we used a knife to score the drywall, get rid of the extra drywall, and that's where April will continue her story with the pieces we had gotten from the local Lowe's.
So once we went to the Lowe's, we found out that this Oatly brand CPVC glue is actually color-coded. There's black, there's blue, and there's yellow. Yellow is temperature rated down to 0 degrees, if you see right here, specifically for cold water pipes. It will do hot water pipes under pressure, but we wanted cold water pipe because that's what this is. And looking at it, we could see that it previously had yellow glue on it from the original construction of the home. So we went to Lowe's. We bought a total of two parts and one thing of glue. It was these two ends here that come together, as well as this container of glue. And this glue sets up really fast. It says it has a 6-hour cure time below 60 degrees, a 1 hour above 60 degrees. We gave it the full 6 hours, which is why it's dark right now. But I will tell you that when we were putting the pieces together, that within about 90 seconds, it was tacking together, making it very hard to turn the pipes.
Actually, less than that.
Less than that.
Very quick.
Yeah, it was quick. So it's hot when you mix it and you use it. So be ready to put your pieces together in their final configuration when you glue it. I recommend you test fit them. We didn't, and we had to work really fast to make that work. So there's not a lot of pictures and videos of us actually gluing it. It's before and after, because it glued so hot and so fast.
So the only reason we did actually cut this piece off and replace it with that new piece is because this was actually cracked.
If you look where my thumbnail is at right here, it cracks from here all the way up into the middle of the joint, as well as on the top of the joint, comes back around this way and cracks all the way up into here. When I cut it off, it was like this, so it was cracked out around here and then along the bottom. And in the picture in the video, you'll see when the water's turned on at the main, it's just dripping and running from right here. And when Dennis turned it on, he turned the water on by like 10% just to see if that was the leak, and it was absolutely coming from here. And now that the water's back onto the house, that's dry, nothing's running inside. So this definitely solved the problem.
Yeah, we actually had water coming out of the garage and just in all over the driveway all the way to the main street until it had gotten turned off, and all that water had turned into ice because of the overnight temp. So, all right, let us wrap it up by getting this water main closed back up and showing you what it looks like once we close this water main back up.
And first thing you got to do when you have any kind of a water problem or a water leak is you got to find the water main to your house. So we had to find my mom's water main and where her neighbors had turned it off. So I'm going to walk down and actually show you where that's at and what that looks like. Once we came over, we established where the water leak was coming from, which was that pipe. And then we turned the water off again because we had turned it on to verify the water leak, and we went and got some parts. Now there's 2 mains here divided by a property line, and my mom's is hidden behind these nifty bushes. These bushes, by the way, if you've planted them, why'd you do that? They're prickly and mean and they hurt. That's all I'm gonna say. So there's a little grate right here.
And we'll show you that grate, what it looks like on this one right there. We're not going to do anything with that one, but that does pull up. But in reality, this whole cement grate pulls up. So apologies again for the lighting. We are hidden behind some plants here.
So we've switched out. Dennis is pulling it up because it's just going to take a little bit more upper body strength than I have right now in the cold, because the ground has frozen it. So as you can see, he's lifting the whole cement lid out. On this particular water main, there is a sensor. I don't know if you can see that right there. That gray piece upside down. Additionally, we're going to shine some light down here. I'll show you some things about a water main you should know. So this right here, this is your on-off valve. Dennis is going to turn that in a minute to check that our fix worked. This piece right here, if you lift it, is the cover for your water meter.
And it tells you whether or not there's actually water being ran. With it being completely still, there is not. So to get back over here to turn on and off the water main. So if you turn this water main here to the right, like what you're going to see here, this is already the water main turned off. And with the water main being turned off, it lines these 2 up, because if for some reason they do shut off your water, they'll turn this to the off position, and there's a hole here with a ring, and they'll actually stick something through there like a lock, so you cannot turn on your water. So this is with it on, this is your water off, which we turn down. So we want to open this up to double check that we've got this fixed. So we're gonna turn this up.
And there are, crescent wrenches, pipe wrenches, different tools you can use. We're just using a pair of pliers that we had in the garage.
And take a look. You can reveal that other ring down there. April will move that light to where you can actually see both rings. And you can see the water is actually going now. All right, you see how far apart we move them? Open, and you can reveal this other ring. When you close it, you'll want to bring this down and put both rings together. That way the water company can lock that if they need to.
So what you are looking at here is the water leak in the garage with the water turned on at about 10%, and it is leaking right there at the bottom of the U-joint. The plastic PVC pipe is just cracked out from the cold weather. I used a razor knife to score out the wet sheetrock and punch that out, and then I used a hacksaw to cut it away right at the tip of the flange where it meets the pipe together. So you see the piece that I was holding in my hand. I took that down to Lowe's and matched it up and found the replacement parts. They were very, very inexpensive at 59 and 61 cents. One is an elbow, the other is an elbow that connects to it so that they can make a U-shaped joint. We found some 0-degree temperature rated glue, and that glue is specifically for PVC pipe. Reason we are using this yellow glue is because that is what you use on cold water pipes. It does set very quickly, so you want to make sure you have test fitted all your stuff together. We did not do that, and it almost cost us having to go back to the hardware store twice because it set up so fast. So make sure you read the instructions. But as you can see here, the water was leaking beforehand. We bought the new pieces, took them home. This is just a picture of it in my lap coming back from the hardware store. Obviously, we hadn't glued them yet. And when we got them glued, we glued the inside of the flange, we glued the outside. We just made sure we very, very thoroughly glued them. And that picture you see at the end was the completed project.
So if you could take a look here, look at this is what is left.
If you look at the water main, now that it's been on for a minute. Nothing is moving. The little meter and the top meter, both of these will spin for cubic feet and for just a small water. So whether you have a drip, like say a toilet tank, or whether you're running the garden hose, if you've got any water moving in the house, these dials will spin that increments your meter. So we have nothing leaking. Everything's good. We don't hear any water in the house.
The water main is totally open because if you take a look right there, they are totally separated apart. When it is closed, as I said, those rings will be 100% together. So we are just going to wrap this back up.
All right. Dennis is going to make sure that water sensor there at the top doesn't get pinched or bound up. He's going to drop that grate back into its grooves. There it is, it just dropped down. And now my mom has water again.
That is the final product. You see this right here, along with my dirty hands. This is the neighbor's right there. And then you can see the water that was left from what was pouring out of the garage. So thank goodness that a neighbor did call and they were able to turn off the water main.
Because yeah, this is the result of negative degree temperatures in a broken pipe. One more thing, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. And we're not licensed plumbers, but we're a heck of a lot cheaper than a licensed plumber.